welcome back to FANSPLAINED, a media criticism podcast with Ryan and Em. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Em.
And in this episode, we're continuing our MCU hiatus with the Marvel film Multiverse. This time, we're digging into X-Men Apocalypse. It's the 9th X-Men film release, 6th as a team title, and we are now solidly in a new timeline, as we went over last episode.
Just wedged right up the butthole of a new timeline.
Wow, that got real hard. That went real hard real quick. So, on that note, this episode, once again, is likely to include criticism of the director in specific, and may have mentions of toxic and harassing behavior, and thus, if criticism of this director is a sensitive topic for you, we suggest you skipped this episode.
Yep.
So, to the point, back to the film, X-Men Apocalypse was released in May of 2016, so it did come out after Age of Ultron.
Shit. Because during our rewatch, I really did notice how he's a lot like Ultron, because he used the TV to learn about the world, just the same way Ultron used the internet to learn about the world.
It did predate the snap, though.
And they both ended up coming to the same assumption that humanity's terrible, but I can make it better by, wiping it all out.
I don't know why he didn't just use the nukes. I'm just gonna say it.
Because...
No, I just wanted to throw the nukes into space. It's fine.
Yeah, to show my power.
Okay, bud. Anyway, so this was produced by 20th Century Fox, as usual. It sets up new backstories for Jean, Scott, and Storm, which are not part of the original timeline.
Good.
Which, again, is why we do not consider this part of the good ending in Days of Future Past. Because it isn't.
No.
So this one is set in 1983, supposedly concluded the trilogy that started with X-Men First Class, despite the fact that much of this development kind of ignores most of Days of Future Past, aside from referencing Raven constantly.
Aside from referencing Raven and the Paris Accords, it uses way more footage from First Class than it does
Yeah,
Days
because
of
it
Future
remembered
Past.
Moira existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very odd, but then you also have this thing where it tends to forget that 20 years have gone by.
Yeah.
Because does James McAvoy look 20 years older?
No. Again, we had...
Does Alex look like he's in his mid-40s?
We had to come...
No.
We just had to accept the fact that maybe all mutants have this... that part of the X gene is the fact that they age slower than other people.
I still have questions as to whether or not Scott is actually Alex's brother and not his child at this rate, because what are those parents doing having a kid that old? Shame on them. Shame on you, Christopher. Why aren't you in space?
Because they're having space adventures. God.
No, they were right there. They were on Earth.
Really? Are we? I always thought those were their foster parents.
Go to space. Damn it. Go to space.
No, I thought those were their foster parents. I didn't think those were their real parents in the movie.
I'm pretty sure those are their parents, because they tend to forget that the space thing happened.
I always thought they were the foster parents.
Who knows? It doesn't make any sense.
It makes
regardless.
more sense to me that they're foster parents and not actually Christopher and Catherine.
It still doesn't make sense time-wise. It really doesn't. Regardless.
I don't know, man. You need to take this shit up with the writers.
I mean, I will, because
God knows
what sense does any of this make?
We can't make it make sense.
We have tried many, many times. It still doesn't.
And we have had long-ass discussions, way longer than any of our podcasts, about this canon.
Specifically, the timeline of this canon. Even just this one spin-off timeline still doesn't make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, this movie also had this weird controversy that happened because it used this photo, or the still shot from, near the end of the movie when, Apocalypse is choking Mystique out.
Yeah.
And they used this for a billboard promo for the movie, and people went
apeshit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't blame them, because it's kind of gross. You could have picked literally any moment from the movie, and you pick that one.
See, I remember when this happened, and I'm gonna say from my point of view, is that I didn't actually see anything wrong with it, because number one, they're fictional characters. Number two, it was done to, show that Apocalypse was dangerous, that he was threatening, and that no one was safe. And three, if you have read any X-Men comics, there are quite a few covers that I can point to that have way more violent, graphic-looking imagery, including one where Mystique is literally holding a knife to Nightcrawler's throat while holding him back by the hair.
Yeah, I mean, yes, there's a lot more questionable crap in the comics than there ever is in anything else.
So people freaking out about this, you're telling me you've never seen any of these comics and the shit that's in them, because I remember, Pepper's Farm remembers.
I mean, I can see part of the point. But then again, part of the rallying cry for this came from Rose McGowan. And again, she can have a point. She can have a salient point once in a while, but she often takes many things too far.
Sure, I can see where people are coming from, but from my perspective, it's really not...
It's not as big of a deal as it was made out to be.
No, it really doesn't feel that way to me. I could see what they were doing with it. I knew what they were doing with it. I also watched, every trailer of it that came out. And it was done for a purpose. It wasn't done to be specifically violence towards women. It was done because she was a major character, and she was made a major character in this new trilogy. So they wanted to show that, wow, even Mystique is in danger here. It's not just about violence towards women. It's about a violence towards the main characters, that no one is really safe, allegedly, in this.
Yeah, I can see both sides of it. I only note it because it's,
it was
a thing that came up around this movie when it came out.
Yeah, I know. I remember, and I thought it was kind of stupid then, too.
I can still see the point, but...
Yeah, I can see the point. It's just
a case of stuff getting blown up a little bit bigger than it probably... was.
I more so just see it as what I believe they meant for it to be.
Yeah. That's fair. To that point, the director, once again, Bryan Singer, we've gone over this. This is the last film, hopefully, I think, from what I remember, that we have to... Well, he did an episode of The Gifted, but not the whole show. This is the last time we really have to go over him ever.
We don't need to.
I'm pretty sure. Thank God. No. So the writer is once again Simon Kinberg. The story was credited to Kinberg, Singer, Michael Dougherty, and Dan Harris. Dougherty and Harris we covered in X-Men 2, and Kinberg we covered last episode.
It's just, I did note that when we saw the credits and saw that Singer was credited for the story, every time he's involved in the story, we always get a lot of these weird...
things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm just gonna mention it here. Can I just have a moment for James McAvoy's hair?
Oh my god.
You're not giving me the moment for James McAvoy's hair. It's really upsetting to me. I really want a moment.
Oh, you want a moment of silence?
Moment of silence for James McAvoy's hair. Rest in peace. Okay, moment over. I'm done. It's really upsetting, and I loved his hair so much, and how can they do this to me? It's so traumatic.
I think you cried.
I cry every time. It's upsetting. It's not right. How dare you?
It'll grow back.
Not for Charles, it won't.
Well, I get...
I'm upset.
I'm upset. At least he still has his cute sweaters.
In his heart and in his mind, his hair was still there.
Yeah, in his mind.
Upsetting!
Which I thought was hilarious. That he still had hair in his mind projected.
He's such a vain little baby, and I love him. Help.
She has a lot of Charles feelings.
I have a lot of Charles feelings, and I love him. God help me, but how dare you do that to me? I know that they had to. I'm just mad. And I will never not be mad.
Well, he was also bald and Split, which she filmed around the same
time. His hair was perfect. How dare they do this to me?
I know.
That hair and that purple sweater and that overexpensive watch. How dare they do this to me. It's not fair. It's not fair, it's not nice, and I'm done. I've said my piece. It just needed to be said. Someone needed to say it.
Someone needed to mourn the loss of Charles's hair.
Yeah, and that someone will be me.
Yes. Because you got a thing for long hair or just
I mean,
good
look
hair.
at that whole Miami Vice thing he had going in this movie. It was glorious. How dare they do this to me?
He definitely did have a Miami Vice thing going on.
It was beautiful, and I'm just extremely upset.
So you got the same way over Ben Bonds' hair in The Punisher.
Yeah, how dare they do that to my boy? Rude. But then they gave it back to me in Shadow and Bone, and I'm fine.
You're fine now.
I'm fine now.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right. He came
back to me.
She really loves good hair.
Also, it doesn't help that neither of us liked the concept for the second season of The Punisher, so I wasn't gonna be happy about that. Regardless, they made him into Jared Leto's Joker, and I'm not okay with it.
Well, we're gonna have to watch it eventually, so...
That is neither here nor there. It's not this episode.
No, I'm just making a point that she doesn't just
and I
do
mourn
this...
good hair when it leaves, and I'm just upset about it.
She doesn't just do this for Charles. She does this for multiple characters and actors.
I do, but this is when it is at its absolute peak. I'm so sad. Anyway, so... Beyond McAvoy's hair.
Beyond that.
The singer once again teased the inclusion of a character they didn't include, which for this movie was supposed to be Gambit.
Of course they did that.
But then they didn't do it because probably they were supposed to be doing that Channing Tatum Gambit movie that just sat in development hell forever and then we never got it. Alongside Nightcrawler, who was included. Mm-hmm. But he has this thing with these last couple movies where they'll tease somebody who's just not in it, and they'll ring out that fan service and then go, haha, sorry, not here. Like, I don't know what it is with some of these X-Men movie directors and how much they loathe Gambit's character because they never want to include him, and I don't get it. There's another somebody I'd be really upset if they cut the right haircut.
Gambit?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll never...
They have given him some bad costumes in the comics, and I get really upset about it. So I'm like, what have you done?
Well, I mean, we'll never know because they're never making a Gambit, apparently.
Shh. Don't hurt me like this. I know.
No one is ever going to hurt as much as the guy who was supposed to play him.
Channing Tatum?
Yeah, no one's gonna hurt as much as Channing Tatum.
Well, it's kind of like Jamie Campbell Bower always getting, like, screwed out of Game of Thrones. Every time they do it, they're like, yeah, here's the part in Game of Thrones. Oh, wait, you have to go do something else? Oh, wait, we canceled that series to do the one about the Targaryens? That poor man.
I'm still forever angry we're not going to get a series about the Long Night. I'm so pissed. I'm still butthurt.
But we'll get that Jon Snow sequel
that
no one needs. I don't want it.
I really don't want it.
I really don't want it.
I really don't want
it. The least interesting part of that season, and you gave it a sequel.
The only way I want it is if he ends up shacking up with Tormund, and that's it.
Again, neither here nor there, but... Yes, agreed. Kinberg said that this formed the trilogy about Mystique, which we had commented on many times as to why in the hell she became the main character. We don't know. It made sense for the last movie. This one, they push it real hard to the point where Jennifer Lawrence is like repeating herself through the whole movie because they only give her so many character marks and so many lines about her character marks.
She turns into Jon Snow by going, I didn't want it.
I didn't want it.
Okay, you spend so many movies talking about how you want people to accept the real you, the blue you, and blah, 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 blah.
And now suddenly you don't care about that. You're going to hide from them because you don't want the attention.
Yeah.
Because it's the wrong attention.
And you act like you have this chip on your shoulders when it's completely self-imposed. used.
Charles is trying so goddamn hard, Raven. How dare you?
Like, you're his family. He wanted you to come home. And you're like, this isn't my home. This isn't the place I used to live. Like, motherfucker, I know you just didn't sit there and say that when you left him bleeding on the beach with your titties out. I don't think so. I don't think so. We got a lot of opinions.
Yeah, most of them are on Mystique's very what the fuck writing in these movies. Like, we love these movies. Don't get us wrong, but damn, we can also recognize that there are parts in these that we're like, what in the hell were you thinking?
Yeah, we love them, but we can rag on them for a whole lot, too.
Yeah, Mystique, mainly, because what the hell are you doing? Like, her character is never consistent, and Eric's, by the by, is the same arc over and over again. Like, how many times are you gonna kill his family?
I mean, at least he stayed to, raise that one kid.
Yeah.
Fuck all of his other kids, am I right?
Well, God only knows what he did to Peter's mom to make her that wary of him.
I don't even know, man.
I don't want to know, quite frankly, but damn. But it's the same thing with Eric. It's like, you've been through this. You've learned past this. And yet, here we are back at square one all over again. Like, he is so easily triggered.
He is.
It's like, I get it. Right? Like, I mean, I don't 100% get it. But I get it. Like, he has this extreme amount of trauma because something really awful was done to him.
Yeah.
100%. But it's not even that. They'll, like, go trigger him off of, like, something that has literally nothing to do with that. Apocalypse just makes it the cherry on top where he's like, we're just gonna shove Auschwitz into this movie because we can.
I'm bringing you to Auschwitz to trigger you into your full potential. Yay! That's
when
Apocalypse.
I've already been, like, emotionally manipulating you for, like, 30 minutes prior to this. Amazing. Eric, honestly, wasn't that the whole point of the helmet, was that you could not be emotionally manipulated? Whatever. No. I mean, he can be emotionally manipulated, just not, like, mentally manipulated.
I mean,
bruh!
God bless Fassbender for trying.
Oh, no, he's doing his best. It's just, again, the writing is rough. We'll see how you feel about the next one, because I know you haven't seen Dark Phoenix.
No, not yet.
I love a lot of things about Dark Phoenix. No, it has many of the same problems.
Well, I've been watching the Dark Phoenix saga for pretty much back all the way when I was a tiny child watching the X-Men cartoon. I have read it, I have watched it, I've even seen the brief anime interpretation of it. And I've, watched the other X-Men movies. So the only reason I put it off was because I wanted to do this. I wanted to actually go through all the other X-Men films and get to Dark Phoenix like that.
And have context for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I put it off. I didn't put it off because I thought that it was shit. If anything, I thought it looked very good. It looked a lot better than X3.
It's very pretty.
And a lot of people, have been ragging on it. And I'm just like, for how much I am a Jean Grey stan and for how much I love this storyline and have seen all the different iterations of it, I will be the judge of whether or not it sucks.
Yeah, well, and we'll get to that next episode.
Also, can I just once again say how much I'm pissed off that Hank is such a simp in this? Like,
yup, he's either a simp or he's an enabler, and he's still doing both.
Like, goddamn, Hank.
And I will have opinions about that even later than I already do.
Raven has been friend-zoning you for decades, okay? Can you
And I don't even believe in real friend-zoning, but it's like, she's been telling you no.
Yeah, she's not into
Or even, like, leading you on. Well, no, she led you on in one movie.
Yeah.
The rest of it was just you being kind of upset that she picked Eric over you, even though it's been literally 20 years, Hank.
Yeah. Like, bro, come on.
This torch, little ridiculous.
Go find you a different girl who will not send you such weird
Can I have a Hank that is remotely like actual Hank?
Yes.
Please?
Let him be brainy, let him be a geek, but also, wow, he has principles, he has morals, and he's not afraid to sass off with people.
Also, those principles and morals would have stopped him from being a goddamn drug enabler for Charles, but, whatever, I guess.
Whatever.
So, that aside, this movie specifically is partially based on the 1998 comics arc, The Fall of the Mutants. I guess.
Question
they say
mark?
that, but I question because
Fall of the Mutants? Question mark?
question mark? Because these things end up very messy all the time, every time.
All the time.
I mean, it's just... Singer left production at one point for almost 2 weeks, with Kinberg filling in as director, which I thought was interesting only because Kinberg ends up directing the next movie.
Yeah.
So
after he's been writing a few of them.
Yeah, like, he had something to do with, like, a thyroid issue or something, or at least that was the excuse given, so he was gone for, like, 10 days or whatever. And so, like, Kinberg had to fill in as director for, like, 2 weeks. Not that long of a span of time on a whole movie production, to be fair, but there's also the post-credits scene with the X6 Corp. We skipped it this time around, but
we did.
We've seen it. Yeah, and it's meant to lead into Logan, Gambit, and further X-Men films. Logan, a little bit, yes. Gambit was never finished, so we'll never know, and Dark Phoenix literally has nothing to do with it.
Which was the one that had the scene that hinted at Mr. Sinister?
That would be the Essex Corporation.
Okay.
Yes.
I was just making sure that was the same one.
Yes, that's the same guy. Yeah, again, that was supposed to lead into the Gambit movie that literally never happened. Yay!
I just would have liked having a Mr. Sinister, like, be weirdly pervy over Scott and Jean and trying to make them bang to have a baby.
Yeah, except that, like, we never would have gotten, like, full camp Tim Curry in Legend level Mr. Sinister. Like, we deserve this. We will never get it.
I'm trying to think of who could have played him, really. Because no, I do not like this version of Apocalypse, but I will concede that Oscar did the best
Oscar's
that he
doing
could.
his best with whatever the hell it was that they just gave him.
I loved his voice.
Including that terrible makeup.
I loved his voice. I thought he was very creepy and a bit gay for Charles, and I was really about that.
Incredibly gay for Charles.
I was really about that, but yeah, his makeup was horrific. I hated it, and I know he.
I don't know why
too.
we were transported back to 1992 or whenever the Power Rangers movie came out. But, like, even the costumes for the Horsemen looked like it came straight out of that Power Rangers movie.
They thought they were
like,
really...
it's overly shiny. Psylocke looks straight like it came out of a paid-for ad at a convention.
Look, they really thought they were doing something, okay?
I guess so. I liked the promo, art. Like the one we have hanging on the wall, the stained glass stuff. Yeah. I like that way better than anything that was actually in the movie.
Yeah, that promo art's really fucking baller.
It's very nice. But, like... Psylocke in general. What the hell was that?
I was so disappointed by that. I love Psylocke, the character in the comics. My god, you really fucked that up.
Also, I don't know how you make the one part of X3 that's even marginally tolerable look good in comparison to what you did with Angel here. Like, I like the whole hard rock stuff that they were going for in this. I do. I dig the 80s metal vibe, but
they're never gonna get
Warren right, and the closest they ever came
was
X3.
Yeah, Ben Foster.
What
he was
the hell?
It was a very small bit, but my god, he made it work. He still made an impression. This shit with Warren, no. I did not like it. It came off really...
Storm was the only one of the three that had any development whatsoever.
Warren's shit came off weirdly trashy, and I don't understand
because it
how
was.
They do that.
But for some reason, he still had more of a character than Psylocke did.
Yeah. Olivia Munn was just not a good choice for this.
The writing was not a good choice for this. She was literally written there, to just stand there and be in that costume.
Yeah,
that is literally it. It's
costume
like
that
you paid someone to come in and wear a cosplay level costume for you.
A costume that does not fit well. She looks very stiff, and in all of her scenes, she has awful writing.
It was not made for her proportions. Like, it makes her look oddly too small in her torso.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, too high cut. The waistline is put in a weird place that is not flattering for her figure. Like, they could have made that costume work. They didn't.
They could have made it look good, and they just... No.
No, and then, of course, it has the token, like, pseudo-Asian lady with...
Purple streaks
or colored streaks, except that I don't even know what in the hell they're doing with this Psylocke. I don't even know if she's Betsy at all. I couldn't tell you because they didn't give her a goddamn character.
Yeah, see, they do the purple streaks because Psylocke's hair is normally... It's actually
I
lavender.
know they do, but it still gives me vibes of, like...
Mako Mori?
Yeah.
From Pacific Rim?
Yes. Or the Knives Chow. That was literally done in that to... I feel like that was literally done to poke fun at that stereotype.
Yeah.
But, because it's like... He punched the streaks out of her hair or whatever in the hell it was. Like, they literally did it to poke fun at the stereotype of, you know, like the vaguely Asian or only Asian girl on the cast, pick one, with the streaks in her hair.
Well, see, he changed Storm's hair color to white. I don't know why he couldn't have changed Psylocke's hair to purple, like all the way purple.
I don't know.
Actually,
I don't know, it probably would have looked more 80s for her than it did.
Actually, it's technically lavender colored, but, you know.
Again, I couldn't tell you if this was even Betsy because they didn't give her a character. I don't know. She was just a girl who stood around in a leotard with a psychic sword thing, and at one point a psychic Wonder Woman lasso. I don't know.
It's a weirdly unflattering costume.
When they're filming her action shots poorly, I might add.
Yeah,
they're filming her action shots to be as sexually suggestive as we complained about with Mystique in the last movie.
For as long as the final fight is, which is like 42 minutes long.
So long.
Like, we checked because I checked the time.
That fight scene has no business
from the time they end up in Cairo to the very end of the movie, it's like 42 minutes.
Yeah, it's about as long as the end fight in the original Avengers movie.
Yeah, and for as long as that fight is, some of it looks pretty good. Some of it has some nice shots, but a lot of it looked really badly filmed. For a movie this expensive, for something that was supposed to be this massive, why does it look like that?
I don't know. Also, are we just never ever going to address how many people Eric murdered in this movie?
Murder, death, killed.
Because, like, they show him just wrecking the shit out of, like, all of these buildings, and it's just, like, all I imagine is, like, this counter just going up and up and up and up and up and up and up as he's, like, constantly doing all this metal stuff. And
like,
it's
like your speedometer in the
he's, like, lifting cars up off of bridges. He's breaking bridges in half. He's decimating entire buildings, like... I want to know what the death toll in this movie was, because I'm pretty sure it was huge.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And we will never address it ever again. Ever.
It's just, that happened, but whatever.
Lampshaded, it's fine. We rebuilt the mansion. We will just never talk about anything ever again.
We rebuilt the mansion, that's all that needs to be addressed. No, wait! What about this near cataclysmic fucking damage he did to multiple countries all over the world?
Yeah, like, ignoring the whole, like, nuclear arsenal thing, because, like, on one hand, can I really get mad at a plot point that's like, no, I sent all the nukes off the planet. Nobody has nukes anymore. No,
I didn't
because that's not inherently a bad thing.
Yeah, I didn't actually...
Get rid of the nukes.
I didn't actually disagree with that.
No, but then you turn around and just... Thanos buildings because metal magic or sand magic, I mean, pick one, depending on who's doing it.
Look, there's metal in everything.
Oh my...
Reach deep into the earth and pull it out!
That is the dumbest thing, because, like, why in the hell would he have been in prison then? Because he could have... Whatever. It's
because
the dumbest garbage.
Because Apocalypse enhanced his powers. Obviously.
I hate this.
You know that's
I love
the
this
excuse.
movie, but it is the dumbest shit when you get to the third act. It really is.
And
the only good part of that third act is the psychic bitch fight between Apocalypse and Charles in Charles's brain.
And then when Jean, unleashes the Phoenix Force, which it is the Phoenix Force.
Mm-hmm.
She had it in her the whole time. Surprise.
It's a secondary mutation. And I don't know why everyone complains about that when we're accepting that Kitty just
time travel people
had a secondary mutation of time traveling people's consciousnesses.
Yeah.
Just because the plot demanded it.
Yeah, the plot demanded it, and people were just like, okay, sure. Well, why can't you do that with Jean having the Phoenix Force already? I mean, she was literally burning walls in her own room.
I mean, they work with it in the next movie, at least I think so. A lot of people, again, whatever. Well, you'll make your own opinion when you watch it.
I will. And you will all hear about it.
Yeah. Do I even want to try and summarize this movie?
I also will still maintain that when it comes to Oscar's Apocalypse, if they had done what they did with Raw in Stargate.
If this movie had basically been X-Men, but Stargate, but X-Men, it would have been phenomenal.
It would have been.
But we didn't get that.
You could have kept the voice changing, you could have kept the glowy eyes.
You could have given me James Spader in a decent role. God!
Seriously, it could have been so fucking cool, and he could have still been very menacing, he could have used all his powers, he could have been
This is why he wanted to be Moon Knight.
Yes.
Because he wanted to do Egypt right, and this wasn't the movie to do that.
But can you just imagine him in, purple robes and, being all... Sheesh, just a flick of the wrist, decapitates
it would have been
people.
A lot like all those scenes from Robin Hood that you showed me, except Egyptian.
Well,
I would have been into that.
I would have been into that too.
We know he can play a really good, convincing, skeevy bad guy. We know he can do this. We've seen it.
It could have
because
been
I originally
so
was introduced to Oscar Isaac from Sucker Punch, and I hated that bitch so goddamn much. Oh, I hated him in that movie. Not because he was bad in it,
but because he was so
convincing as a shitbag in that movie. My God. We know he can play good villains.
It's just we could have
They did not give him a good role in this.
We could have had it all.
We could have had it all. We did not get that, so I content myself with the new teenagers, that mall scene, the deleted mall scene, which is really what we deserved in this movie.
Yeah, which actually showed Jubilee, in an actual role.
God, can we please give Jubilee a goddamn role for once?
Can we just have Jubilee? If you're gonna have Jubilee there, then damn it, let her be there.
Do more with her than have her raise her hand and want to talk to Charles and then get interrupted and never see her again. God. There are so many things about this that upset me. I love this movie, but God, there are so many things about it that upset me. I don't even know if I want to summarize this, because it's...
Well, do you want to skip the summary?
God.
Since we've kind of already broken down a lot of it anyway.
Basically, they discover that mutants are actually ancient, not children of the atom.
Yeah.
They wake Apocalypse up because he can transfer his consciousness from body to body.
It's basically
and assume different mutants' powers as he does this. He's more insidious rogue.
Yeah, and it all happened because Moira went down into some cavern and left the door open, and sunlight got in, and boom, he's awake now.
And Charles felt the thing, and then he came to talk to her about it. Because this coincided with Jean having a nightmare attack with the Phoenix Force. Whatever. So they go to visit Moira. We find out that Charles has not spoken to Moira in 20 years because he wiped her brain and literally never talked to her again. And
good move, Chuck.
Good move, Chuck. So Apocalypse is now awake and running around trying to recruit the Horsemen, who are basically his bodyguards, not biblical horsemen.
Yeah.
This includes Storm, Angel, Psylocke, and of course Eric, because what is an X-Men movie if not Eric's villainy persevering?
Magneto.
I said it What is an X-Men movie if not Magneto's villainy persevering?
No. Eric's trauma persevering.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's true. Oh, God. What is an X-Men movie if not Eric's trauma persevering? There you go.
And being constantly triggered.
God, it's true. Anyway, so Charles tries to reason with him as he does. This leads Apocalypse to recognizing that Charles has Cerebro, and he can use this because Charles is like this Omega level telepath.
Technically he is.
Yeah, he is. So Apocalypse is like, oh, but I want that. I want to be in that body.
Ooh, I want to be in that body. Ooh, James McAvoy. And I'm like, bitch, me too, the fuck.
Also, Oscar, no, that's your grandson. Don't do this.
Oh!
Ah!
Oh, yeah, that level of...
That level of meta. You're welcome. I brought it back to Dune. I will always bring it back to Dune.
They were both...
This one also had sand in it. Dune killed Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac's gonna kill Dune.
They both reunited in the desert.
Sure did.
Mm-hmm. You became a worm man. I'm the blue man.
Oh, God.
Who's laughing now? Where's your god now?
I mean, probably James McAvoy, because he still looked better through most of
his eyes were bluer than Oscar's skin in this movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's true.
That's just naturally true.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Apocalypse decides that he wants to transfer his consciousness into Charles's body so that he can become the ultimate mutant to have access to everybody's brain.
Get in that body.
All the time, whenever he feels like it. So he uses Charles while connected to Cerebro to launch all the nukes on the planet into space where they become defunct and do not work. Because he doesn't like that humans have things that position them as, quote, God.
Or even rivals to him. He's like,
no.
You don't get to have
am
weapons.
The power here, excuse you.
I am the bomb. Boom.
But then, surprise, he doesn't actually care about, like, a weird peace thing. He really just wants to enable Magneto to rip up the entire planet.
Yeah.
Because metal magic, because metal's in everything.
He's a metal bender, leave him alone.
Metal's in everything. So just decimate everything, and whoever survives, they're the new race or whatever. I'm Shaw, but less interesting. It's true.
Wow.
Am I wrong? No, I'm not.
Wow. He had a blue jello bubble of teleportation. How can you say he's not more interesting?
Because Kevin Bacon had a character.
Yeah, but Oscar had really nice eyelashes.
Look, Oscar looks nice in everything. Doesn't make Apocalypse more interesting than Shaw, because it ain't true. So, they end up in Egypt. Great. This is after Alex tries to destroy Cerebro, blows up the mansion. Peter comes in, saves everybody through one of those cool time sequences because we had to have that repeat in this movie.
It's not as good as the one in Days of Future Past, but it's still pretty good.
It sounds convoluted as hell, and because all the nukes launched and they determined that they launched from Xavier's brain or something, Stryker comes in and only kidnaps like 5 select mutants because he doesn't care about anybody else, I guess.
He just leaves those children there.
He just leaves all the kids there
to fend for themselves.
Just deal with it, I don't give a fuck. And he takes them, he locks them up in Canada, and then...
The grand country of Canada.
And then Jean and Kurt and Scott go to free them. They find Wolverine in the process.
And Jean chooses violence.
And Jean chooses violence and unleashes Wolverine on Stryker and everybody there.
But no but this time because we couldn't do it in the nude.
No, because the sequence is too long.
Well, that's a damn shame because I would have been fine with it being
too many younger actors on this movie. That's why.
That's probably.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
So yeah, we have Wolverine beating the shit out of everybody, and then he leaves and runs off into the snow.
You mean killing? Shit out of everybody?
Yes. That's also why he was wearing shorts because they added all the gore into the movie. Let's be real about that. So whatever. Jean figures out that they're all in Egypt, so they go to Egypt to go rescue Charles, and they get in a fight with the Horsemen, and then they get in a fight with Apocalypse, and Apocalypse tries to steal Charles's body, and instead just ruins his hair! And then Charles has a psychic bitch fight with Apocalypse, and Jean beats the crap out of him, and...
Rip Charles's hair.
End of movie. They go to rebuild the mansion, and everything's fine, and we're never going to talk about all the millions of people that Eric murdered in this movie.
Jean literally incinerated Apocalypse because, sure.
She was that sentinel that held Sunspot to the fire and burned his face off.
She was.
You're welcome.
Fuck.
You're welcome. I did that. I said that.
How dare you do that?
It's a convoluted summary, because it's a convoluted movie that still really doesn't get anywhere, and because the third act is an absolute mess.
And it's often driven by the phrase, the plot demands it. Because
if I could just ignore, like, the last 30 minutes of this movie.
Because how the hell did Stryker know that Charles was the one who did that?
Because they could sense the energy from his basement or something.
Is an ass pull of a
We just wanted Stryker in the movie so we could include a Wolverine cameo. That's why. You're welcome.
How convenient that is.
I mean, yeah. Could we have just taken them all to Egypt and ignored that side plot? Yeah, probably. Would the movie be a little tighter and probably meander a little less? Yeah, probably. Am I gonna complain about the Hugh Jackman cameo and a thing when the last 40 minutes following it are questionable and off and on interesting? No. No, I'm not. No. Because it was a great fight scene. It was probably a better fight scene than a lot of the fight scenes at the end.
Yeah.
Because why do they look like that?
And you also get that moment between him and Jean, which genuinely, that moment...
I understand the ship more with that scene than I did anything in the original trilogy.
That scene explains the ship. That could explain his infatuation / love for her. And it definitely makes the ship more of an actual plausible thing.
Yeah.
Rather than him just suddenly coming to the mansion and being like, ooh, touch me, Dr. Lady.
Right. Okay, great.
That's literally how it reads
I love how late 90s the original X-Men feels in retrospect. It's so cringy. Anyway, so beyond that mess of a summary, returning primary cast includes Fassbender, McAvoy, Lawrence, Holt, and Peters. We add Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, Ty Sheridan as Scott Summers, Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse, as we've talked about many times by now, Cody Smith-McPhee as Nightcrawler, the only one with an Oscar in this group, I think, other than Lawrence.
Cody
didn't he get an Oscar for... He got an Oscar nom.
Well, I think he got a nomination. I don't think he got
Did he win for that? I don't remember.
No.
I don't remember.
He didn't win for that.
Well, he got a nom for that, and very few of these people have that. Whatever.
I mean, yes. But no, I don't think he got it.
I don't remember. I stopped paying attention to the Oscars like halfway through. I'm a very bad film critic, apparently.
Oh, I didn't know he was Australian.
It's because he doesn't sound it. It doesn't slip like some of these other accents do.
Let's see, he got the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor.
Oh, but he didn't.
He was nominated for.
Click on more, because it doesn't show. All of them.
Yeah, he got Satellite Award.
Okay, so he got a Golden
New York
Globe
Film
Press. Right,
yeah. He was nominated for an Academy Award.
All right, and then we have Alexandra Shipp as Storm. Honestly, I think she's the best Storm we've had.
Yeah.
I loved her Storm, but it's not hard to do better than the other Horsemen, to be fair. Then returning secondary actors, you have Rose Byrne, Lucas Till, and Josh Hellman as Stryker, moving up from a cameo to not central, but a little more important of a role.
And Michael Fassbender has also been nominated for an Oscar. So we got
a few now.
Yeah.
All right. Then you have new actors such as Lana Condor as Jubilee, who deserves better always.
Yes.
Olivia Munn as Psylocke, as we've talked about a few times. And oh my god, I almost put the wrong name there, but Ben Hardy as Angel. I was like, oh god, did I put the wrong name there? It took me a minute. I'm like,
No, we're too used to a different Hardy.
No, I'm also too used to a different Ben as Angel. Like,
that's true. The better Angel.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of cameos in this movie as well. You have Hugh Jackman, as we've talked about. You also finally have a Stan Lee cameo in one of these newer X-Men movies with his wife, Joan B. Lee.
It was really
they're
cute.
bystanders witnessing the launch of all the nuclear missiles. This is actually the last movie that Joan was in before her death in 2017.
Aww.
But at least they got to be together in a
They
cameo.
did.
I thought it was very cute.
It was very cute.
And then we had Tomas Lemarquis, I think is how you say that?
Lemarquis.
As Caliban. This role was replaced by a different actor when we get to Logan. You also had a wrestler, the Gustave Claude. Oh, I have no idea how to say the last name.
We met
as the Blob, who was fighting Angel before Nightcrawler. I guess
it was carried out on a stretcher.
I barely remember this because it was like
I remember seeing it.
It's
it was
a hot minute.
they were carrying him away on a stretcher.
The only real note that I had on the acting was that Sophie was cast due to the sudden dark side of Sansa in Game of Thrones at the time.
Okay, sure.
Which, to be fair, deserved, because someone deserved to see that before Game of Thrones ruined it. That again, is not either here nor there. But
I mean, Sophie was a great actress, and I mean, that's how I feel.
I love her Jean. I didn't care. Like, I'm gonna be fully honest. I never cared about Jean and Scott because I was so used to X-Men from the animated series, the 92 one. I didn't care about Jean or Scott in that.
Scott!
Like,
Jean!
That is literally the whole of both their characters.
It is.
To be fair.
They're
but
literally...
this movie actually makes me care about both of them a lot.
The animated Scott and Jean are like Inuyasha and Kagome.
Except that I like Inuyasha and Kagome.
Okay.
To be fair.
I liked Scott and Jean, as melodramatic as they were.
Oh, I didn't as a kid. All I cared about was Rogue and Gambit.
What really freaks me out is going back and seeing Jean do all these weird orgasm screams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is
What
that?
are you making her do? I feel bad for that woman.
I'm like, stop.
Like, damn, Jean, calm down.
What are you doing?
Damn, Jean, chill.
But yeah, I actually really did like them in this movie.
Yeah, like, I actually came out of this loving Scott.
And that's never happened
And that's never happened for me before. Ever. I mean, it's not really James Marsden's fault that Scott was written the way he was in the original trilogy either.
Yeah.
It's really not Scott's fault that whatever in the fuck happened in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
No.
Because what was that? I don't even consider that Scott half the time because
I mean,
what
are we still supposed to consider that random diamond girl to be Emma Frost?
Again, why this cannot be the same canon, because it's not.
It's not. It's really dumb.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, like, the acting in this, for the most part, was fine. Yeah. It's more the side characters that I have issues with. Some of it is the writing, and some of it is not.
Some of it's the acting. Some of the characters are just wildly inconsistent. Some of it is the writing.
Ravens is mainly the inconsistency of her writing. Some of that is allegedly from Lawrence not wanting to do as much makeup, but even then, like, I still think you could have written the character a little more solidly, regardless of what she looked like.
Yeah, you could have.
I did note that they did put Mystique in clothes.
Finally.
And that's how they got away with doing less body makeup. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Amazing how that works.
Funny how that works when you're not trying to, give her the splayed leg shots all the time, because we gave all that to Olivia Munn this time instead. Like that time when she's standing on the rock and she's literally standing there with, like, her legs just fully spread.
I'm
so
like,
that
why
you
are
see
you
the whole... Because they want you to see the high cut of the leotard.
Oh, that, and she's in heels. I'm like, why are you standing like that in heeled boots? Like, this is such a... You look like a Barbie.
Well, that, and, like, there is the implication that Apocalypse was making their costumes piece by piece. Why does this exist?
Because he wanted that...
is so bad.
He wanted that hands-on touch.
Gross. gross.
I mean, Apocalypse is kind of gross. Let's be
that's
real.
Fair. That's fair.
Let's be real. He is kind of a creep.
Yeah, but I feel like of anybody, Olivia Munn was definitely the weakest of the bunch.
Unfortunately.
I still don't know how much of this is the writing, because the writing really didn't give that character a lot of character in the first place.
Really loved Evan Peters actually getting more of a character.
Yes, that was adorable.
I loved him getting more development. I really, really do love Sophie's Jean. I'm gonna say it, I love her more than Femke's Jean.
I mean, yeah, I never really liked Femke's Jean.
Her Jean is, you want to talk about inconsistent, like,
those movies in general are inconsistent.
And you can tell that with Sophie that this is, she's still getting used to doing an American accent, but I loved her
I thought it was fine.
I loved her as Sansa Stark on Game of Thrones. I loved her in this. And the thing is that she kept that accent pretty well. She never let it slip, unlike some people I could name.
McAvoy.
Fassie.
I also heard McAvoy's Scottish slip out a couple times.
But I will never stop cracking
that
up.
First movie. When Fassbender just slips straight into that Irish.
He comes out and he goes from being, peace was never an option. Peace was never an option, Charles. My brothers and sisters. Like, what the fuck is that?
You sounded a bit like your O'Reilly Auto Parts gag.
Don't bring that up.
You're welcome.
That's something we do in long car rides on the way to somewhere. And I'm bored, so I improvise this whole backstory for O'Reilly's Auto Parts. And how I'm the only legitimate O'Reilly.
I mean, we've talked on the podcast, I'm pretty sure, about the Michael Bubble guy. So...
Also, another improv thing.
We've either done it on the podcast or we've done it on the video game stream.
I think we did it on the video game.
We've done it on one of them.
I think we did it on the video
Anyway,
game.
yes, it is very obvious when Fassie slips into his accent, but I've noticed more and more that McAvoy will do it in these, moments when he's trying to be extremely passionate or angry about something.
It just
kind of slips out. Every
Like
once in a while, and it's just for a couple words. It's not like a whole extended thing.
He's really good with his accents. So every time there is a slip, it's really funny.
It is.
And it's like,
funny. It's like, I caught you, but
gotcha.
I also don't care because I'm into it. So whatever.
Especially in Days of Future Past, where Logan just grabs Charles like, Charles Xavier. And I'm like, what was that, Jay? What was that?
Him slipping, that's what that was. But, other than that, most of the acting itself is passable. Most of our beef is, again, story points.
It's story
come
points.
on, what is this?
Because, that's the thing with X-Men. That's one of the reasons we've always loved it, is the characters and a lot of the stories. And if you are not being consistent or at least putting more effort into either of them, we're gonna have a bone to pick with both of them.
My bigger beef with this movie, however, is, and I'm not really gonna go over too much of the cinematographer because we've covered Siegel last episode. We did that already.
Yeah.
But, the look toward the end of it. Because, the first part of it looks appropriately 80s for the most part. Don't really have many issues. But you get to that last, that third act action sequence, everything is that beige nothing color. It could be anywhere. Beige, and it's just a bunch of, ruins everywhere.
Beige and gray.
Oh, God, it's
a lot of beige and gray.
Ugly, but you can also, one, there's that Psylocke shot that they think they're being super, super suave with.
Yeah, they thought it was super... You could really tell they thought they were doing a thing.
You can see the CGI in it. But moreover than that, I will never get over that end scene when Mystique is giving that just torturous, self-important speech.
You're not students. You're X-Men. No. I'm like, calm down, Katniss.
Yeah,
calm down.
Yeah, it was a little bit of that. But I will never get over the fact that you can see the green screen still reflected in Sophie's hair.
You can. You can't. We've looked at
they did the cutting fine, but you can see the reflection of the green in her hair,
and you can
there is no explanation for that green color anywhere.
You can see it in the film, and if you actually go to look at screen caps of that scene, you can see it there too.
Yeah, it's kind of painful.
Yeah,
I'm like, y'all really rushed parts of this.
Oh yeah,
real bad. Mm-hmm. But like the CGI just looks so much more overtly CGI in this one.
Yes.
Like, especially that opening sequence where it looked almost like early 2000s level CGI stuff when they were going through, like, the time warp thing in the tunnel.
Yeah.
It looks very, like, video gamey, old school, like, Doctor Who level budget graphics. That is what that thing reminded me of.
Dun, 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 dun.
Except that I think the Doctor Who looked better than some of the sequences in that because it just looked too shiny and not refined enough. But I think that's part of my problems with the costumes too, is they're not weathered. Yeah. They just look like the foam that they're made out of.
And also that they look very uncomfortable, and it looks like the actors struggle to actually move in them a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you don't want that for your actors. There's a way to make costumes that they can move in and look cool in at the same time.
This is why I like Dark Phoenix a lot better, because they do have nice suits in that movie. But I mean, it's also part of why I like First Class, is because those suits...
Yeah, they could actually move around in those suits.
This one,
They just come off so clunky and weirdly...
I mean, to be fair, they did just randomly pull them off the rack.
No,
leaving.
No, not just those. I meant the ones that Apocalypse and all those.
Yeah, those are rough. Like, the only one that looks really genuinely nice is Storm's.
Yeah.
Storm's looked very nice. I liked Storm's a lot. Psylocke's is an absolute mess. I don't even know what's going on with Warren. I never know what's going on with Warren because I don't think these movies know what's going on with Warren.
I also hate the fact that they took his feathers away and they gave him the metal ones when in the comics he was like wildly traumatized by that.
No, in this one he's just like, this is so cool. Whips out knives.
Okay, I got metal now. I'm super metal. Urgh.
I'm so heavy metal, man.
Cue Metalocalypse.
I should be in a band.
Cue Metalocalypse.
Blacker than the black is black times infinity. Yeah, a little bit. This movie is yet another one of those where it's like, this has no business looking like this.
No.
I don't, especially when that end sequence is so long.
Yeah.
That's where you needed to put a vast majority of your resources, and it's very obvious you did not.
Yeah, like you're making this basically your... What's it called? Your final course. Your big final course, your piece de la resistance.
It's bad.
And that's how you're gonna do it.
It's rough.
I will say I liked the psychic fight.
Yeah, the psychic fight looks amazing. Also, like, James just like,
you're in my house now!
God, I love it so much.
And then,
I love Charles so much. Movie Charles. I love movie Charles so much. Just don't touch me. He still had his hair.
And then I really love the part where Jean enters his mind through Cerebro's door. I loved that shot.
It's so good.
And then she literally walks out on air to Apocalypse, and that music for that scene still gives me chills.
Yeah, speaking of the music, we've already covered John Ottman. We've covered him a lot, especially with these Singer movies. Again, like this one, the music is nice.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, and it has moments where it genuinely works.
Yeah, like, I think a lot of the music during Jean's scenes are they're the strongest pieces.
Oh, 100%.
Like I said, the one where she, faces Apocalypse, that still gives me chills. It's still great. It's very fitting for X-Men, but it's building up, and it's like... It's really epic sounding music, and it's fitting for the scene.
Yeah, speaking of the music, though, I think this is why I take so much... Not beef, but, like, this is why I definitely, prefer the Days of Future Past Peter sequence to this one. Mm-hmm. Because the music is better fitting. Like, I feel like you could have... Like, you have this wide gamut of 80s songs.
And you
I like Sweet Dreams, but, like, it fits... Like, it doesn't really fit the tone...
Yeah.
Of, like... Even the pacing of that scene. Whereas, like... The first Peter scene, the music complements it extremely well because it is timed to the music. This one doesn't really do that. They just threw an 80s song on top of it to be like, it's the 80s.
They could have found a better song. Like, hell, man, any of the Journey songs probably would have fit.
I don't even like Journey that much, but it will always go on my Charles playlist for 1983.
Or hell, man, even Whitney Houston.
Anything could have gone here.
I want to dance with somebody.
I don't know. There were many things that could have gone here. I just don't really think that the Eurythmics actually fit what they were trying to do as well as whatever song it was they were using the first time.
That was, shit. Time in a Bottle. I forget who.
I'm sorry if you can hear me typing loudly.
Clack, clack. I was right, it was Time in a Bottle.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because it actually fits the pace of it.
Jim Crush. I was right.
Yeah,
I was thinking that was him, but I didn't want to say the name and then sound stupid if I was wrong.
I've sounded stupid on many things I've been wrong about on this show alone.
I thought that was him. My parents really liked listening to him.
But yeah, like, I feel like there were many songs you could have picked, and that one, it was just very token to throw in there because everyone will recognize it as an 80s song.
Pretty much. I think that's the main reason they used it.
Yeah, I'm just like, you know what would have been really funny over that scene if they'd timed it well?
What?
Even though I think it probably came out too late in the 80s to do it for here, would have been Safety Dance.
Oh my god.
Like, can you imagine him saving kids to, like, all the spelling? Just think about it. That would have been amazing.
You would think that.
My dream. It's my dream. That said, now that we're past this, overall rating for this movie. Por favor.
Probably a 3.5, actually.
That's fair.
Because, yeah, I still really love a lot of the cast. There's still interesting bits in there. There's still some interesting ideas they actually did manage to get on the screen.
There's just a lot of faults with this one.
I still really love the movie Charles, of course. I actually did like Oscar as Apocalypse. I just feel like they did not use him to his full potential.
AKA he's Ultron.
I feel like they squandered
100%.
What could have been
extremely cool
and creepy and magnanimous if they had just done it in a different way, a la Stargate. I really love the new Teen Mutants. I love giving them new backstories.
Yes. I
love actually giving a much better backstory to Jean and Logan. I liked a lot of that stuff. It's just
the faults are a little more obvious in this one.
Yeah, the stuff that grinds my gears grinds it a little more than it did in the previous ones.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially Raven's fucking bullshit about how she wanted to be seen.
She wants it, but she doesn't want it. I don't want it, but then she wants it, but then she doesn't, but then she does, but then she doesn't, but then she does.
I wanted to be seen, I want to be accepted, but now that you're a fucking hero and people have seen and accepted you, you're like, no, there's still a war. What are you doing here, protecting kids and teaching them how to use their powers? There's still bad things out there, Charles. This was never my home. Blah, 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 blah. I don't like that, and I think that's shitty writing for her and shitty development for her. And god damn it, Eric, go raise your other fucking kids, too. God. Or keep it zipped up. One of the two.
I agree, and I would probably give it the same rating. As much as I love the things that I love about this movie, the things that drive me nuts are a little more apparent than they have been in other movies.
They're a little more glaring.
The costume, and it's one of those things where it's like, I can enjoy a thing and fully recognize that it is a rough looking or rough end product or whatever. I am a Star Wars prequel stan. I know all about liking things that are not perfect products.
Yeah.
100%. So, yeah, I would probably give it about a 3.5. The stuff I love.
Yeah.
The stuff I don't like, I really don't like.
Yeah.
So...
Because, like, you want to really love this movie, and you want it to reach its full potential, but it just doesn't.
But then you just get to that last 45 minutes, and we're like, God, is it over yet? No, we still have 40 minutes in this movie.
Like, are you shitting me?
Oh, it was rough. It was real rough. Because
Yeah,
I forget every time. I'm like, then no, that last fight's like 20 minutes. No.
It just never lives up to its full potential.
No, it never did.
Which is very sad.
Yeah, it sucks. So, thank you for listening to this episode of Fansplained. If you enjoy what we do, consider donating on Ko-fi. Everything we make goes right back into the production quality of the show. We appreciate all of our subscribers, especially you new ones. What's up?
Yeah.
And everything you do. And we're thankful for anything from Hulk smashing that like button to your questions and comments on each episode, and especially sharing the show with your friends. Fansplained is a weekly media criticism and deep dive podcast, and we're currently still working our way through the chronological order of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and will be for a very long time. Next episode, we'll be continuing our multiversal hiatus. Well, not next... Did I say next episode or next week?
Next episode.
Next episode, whatever. We'll be continuing our multiversal hiatus with X-Men Dark Phoenix. You can find our updates here on YouTube, as well as on Twitter and Ko-fi at Fansplained. If you want more of our conversations on the MCU and other fandoms, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell for new episode notifications. So now... I ruined it. It's been a while.
And I didn't even interrupt you this time.
It's been a while. Until next time, Salt Shakers, this has been Ryan.
And Em.
With the Fansplained podcast. And we will see you next episode.